Good day and welcome to our show for today. As usual on Political Spectrum, we help you make sense of major developments in our nation's polity and political economy. Political Spectrum comes to you live from Uyo, the state's capital. And I remain your host, Onumese Ehinoma Olusegun. Our conversations continue on everyday political and economic developments in Nigeria and even sometimes beyond. But first, on President Bola Tinubu's administration's calendar, today is August the 30th, Wednesday, 2023, and it marks exactly 94 days of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in office as President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. That is 3 months and 3 days as we gradually get closer to his first 100 days in office. All right, we begin with arguably the most popular minister of this current administration yet at the Federal Capital Territory in Abuja. Nigerian Federal Capital Territory Minister Wike carries out his first demolition of a multi-million naira duplex in Abuja. Now, the Federal Capital Territory Administration under the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike on Monday demolished a fully completed multi-million naira duplex for building in an alleged unapproved plot of land. Now, the building located on plot 226 Cadastral Zone A02 Wuse 1, Wuse Zone 6 district is said to initially belong to Oba Oyebade Lipede, the Alake of Egbaland, but was allegedly taken over by one Alhaji Ibrahim Muhammad Kamba and Alhaji Ademu Teku, who illegally constructed the duplex against all warnings. Now, the Director, Department of Development Control, Mukhtar Galadima, said his team carried out an extensive investigation to ascertain the original owner of the plot, giving varying claims by parties. He said the FCTA will not consider the status of any defaulting developer once development rules and regulations were violated. He stated that the duplex was demolished because somebody built without valid title and building plan approval on someone else's land. Investigation revealed that the developer is not the owner of the plot. That is why the building was removed. I quote, they say, and I quote, "We allowed the building to this stage before demolishing it because we had to follow all the processes. He was served all the notices to stop work, but being a recalcitrant developer, he continued without heeding to the notices we served." The FCDA also directed its officials to compile a list of serviced and vacant plots of land as well as abandoned buildings within their district. The FCDA has given the order to all the sector monitors, asking them to submit a list of serviced and vacant plots of land within their districts, according to a memo. Now, the sector monitors, according to the circular by the FCDA, which is under the Minister of the Federal Republic, Nyesom Wike, and former Rivers State Governor, they are to submit the list of the serviced and vacant plots with photograph clips. They are to also submit a list of abandoned buildings, both completed and uncompleted within their districts, with photograph clips on or before Wednesday, August 30th, which is today. The minister's promise of demolition has begun. Now, moving away from that story is the story concerning a possible flooding yet again this year. I will take the first major reports. Flooding risk. There is an advice: relocate to higher grounds. Edo State government tells its residents. Now, the Edo State government has called on residents in lowland and riverine areas in the state to be vigilant and relocate to higher plains as a result of likely flooding with the release of modulated amounts of water into River Niger from Lagdo Dam by Cameroonian authorities. Now, in a statement in Benin City yesterday, Commissioner for Communication and Orientation, Mr. Chris Nehikare, said, and I quote, "Edo State government has been informed that the authorities of Lagdo Dam of the Republic of Cameroon will be releasing modulated amounts of water into River Benue due to flooding caused by incessant torrential downpour. Now, residents in lowlands and riverine areas, including those in the names of the areas were mentioned, Agenegbode, Anegbete, Ilushi, that is popular for local rice, of Esako East, Esako Central, and Esako Southeast local governments respectively, as well as other riverine areas in Ikpobaoka LGA, Ovia Northeast LGA, and Ovia Southwest LGA respectively, are hereby put on notice to be vigilant and relocate to a higher plane. I continue his statement as I quote him. The Edo State government has promised support to those displaced from their homes by the rising water level occasioned by the overflow of the River Benue. Now, you recall that federal government on Monday here had confirmed that Lagdo Dam's floodgates had been opened once again by the Cameroonian authorities, and that all the frontline states may experience flooding within the next 7 days. Now, in the bid to ensure effective coordination and implementation of various policies and rescue missions aimed at mitigating the impacts of the flooding, the Presidential Committee, which met in Abuja, resolved that the Vice President Kashim Shettima will chair the committee to avert flooding. Now, the flooding warning alert was issued by the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Dr. Betta Edu, during a media briefing held at the instance of the Presidential Committee set up by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu after the Federal Executive Council meeting. Now, the humanitarian minister tasked Nigerian Governors Forum, NGF, on the need to set up actions by ensuring immediate evacuation of Nigerians from various communities to safer, or can I say, higher destinations. She also pledged the readiness of the ministry to work with subnational and local government levels towards the provision of shelters for maybe affected citizens. Now, we hope that the government, as well as the residents of the frontline regions prone to this massive flooding, will better manage the situation this time around to reduce damage and loss of both lives and properties. All right. To our next story, still on the issue of possible flooding. No cause for alarm. The NIHSA boss, the Nigerian Hydrological Service Agency, NIHSA, has assured that there was no cause for alarm following the notification of Cameroon to release excess water from the Lagdo Dam. The Director General, Nigerian Hydrological Service Agency, NIHSA, Clement Nze, disclosed this on Tuesday, yesterday, in Abuja while addressing journalists on the present situation of flooding in the country. Nze noted that there has been steadiness in the flow of River Benue and River Niger water, River Benue and River Niger water level from its monitoring system, adding that there is room to impound waters into the reservoir from the upstream if the flow increases. He, however, stressed the need for a high level of preparedness on the part of the government at all levels, and relevant agencies charged with disaster response and reduction to step up action to mitigate and avert any eventual flooding disaster. Now, let's watch his statements in this video.
Cause for alarm in terms of the River Benue, River Niger. What happened in Cameroon is normal reservoir operation. You must release water. That's why we collaborate seriously with the Kainji and Jeba dams. That once the flood level is at a certain threshold, like say in Niani, we will notify the operators of Kainji and Jeba and the hydrologists, so that they will know that they should reduce the level, they need to stay water. So that when the huge flood is coming into the dam, you block it immediately. The immediate past administration, under the Department of Water Resources and Sanitation, has commenced processes towards actualizing that dam. So as we discuss, as we speak now, The feasibility studies and designs have been completed by the consultant that was commissioned, and they have turned in his report to the ministry, which the experts have gone through. Normally, when you do a design and step forward, experts will go through it, because you are given a type of POR to do the design, to do what idea is in conformity. Comments have been made by the ministry and sent back to the consultants, maybe to reflect in the final design. I believe not long from now, the program by the ministry and sent back to the consultants, maybe to reflect in the final design. I believe not long from now, the procurement process proper will commence. There's no cause for.
All right, there you have it. The boss of the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency in Nigeria has spoken that for now there may not be any cause for alarm. But I recall that even the humanitarian minister has said all the states, through the NGF, that all the states to be on the alert, and some governors of different regions that are prone to flooding have started announcing and using media to tell residents at the lower rump of the sea base level to find higher grounds for the meantime, so that there will not be loss of lives and properties, because that of last year was a very, very terrible disaster. And since we've not been able to settle the issues as agreed many decades ago with the Lagdo Dam to create ourselves a dam that can receive water, we have to continue to do management and control, especially the protection of the poor and the vulnerable people who don't have too many options of where to go. Now, away from the reports about the possibility of flooding or not, we move to the next. It's getting more interesting. Now, there was a State House press release of federal government yesterday, 29th of August. That press release, President Tinubu appoints new board and management of the Niger Delta Development Commission. Good news. A lot of people will say it's good news. Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the appointment of a new board and management team of the Niger Delta Commission, inclusive of the following board and management team members. I start from the first five major directors. Mr. Chiedu Ebie is the chairman, you can see on your screen, from Delta. Dr. Samuel Ogbuku is the managing director, that's the chief executive officer from Bayelsa. Mr. Boma Iyaye, executive director of finance and administration, is from Rivers State. Then Mr. Victor Antai, executive director of projects, is from Akwa Ibom. Ifedayo Abegunde Mr., executive director corporate services, from Ondo State. Then you have Senator Dimaro Demyabofa, that's a state representative from Bayelsa. Mr. Abasi Indika Nkono, state representative Akwa Ibom. Right Honorable Monday Igbuya, state rep Delta. Chief Tony Okocha, state rep Rivers. Honorable Patrick Aisowenye, state rep Edo State. Mr. Kirian Uchegbu, state rep Imo. Victor Kolade Akinjo, state rep Ondo. Chief Dingba Eruba, state rep Abia. Mr. Asu Oku Ekang, state representative from Cross River. Honorable Nick Mwende, zonal representative North Central. Honorable Namdas Abdurazak, zonal representative Northeast. Senator Dr. Ibrahim Abdullahi Gober, zonal representative Northwest. Now, the president expects that the new board and management team will ensure a new era of successful administration in the NDDC in line with its renewed hope agenda. And there's another information that all the above list appointment takes immediate effect. And that statement was published by the special advisor of the president on media and publicity, Mr. Ajuri Ngelale, yesterday on the 29th of August. All right, very good news. Now we move away to a little of party politics. And the political party we'll be x-raying here is the NNPP. NNPP suspends Kwankwaso over alleged romance with other key party stakeholders of other parties. Now, the Board of Trustees of the New Nigerian Party, NNPP, on Tuesday suspended its candidate in the February 25th presidential election, Mr. Rabiu Kwankwaso, and one other member over alleged anti-party activities. Now, the suspension is to take effect for a period of 6 months in the first instance. The BOT, which announced the suspension at a media briefing in Lagos, also suspended the National Working Committee of the party. Now, recall that the National Working Committee of the party on Thursday, August 24th, announced the suspension of the founder of the party, Dr. Boniface Anyebonam, and the National Publicity Secretary, Major. The BOT also appointed new national officers headed by Dr. Agbo Major as acting national chairman and Mr. Ogini Olakposi as acting national secretary with 18 other people. Now, the suspension were put to a voice vote by members of the party at its special General Assembly held at the Rockview Hotel in Apapa in Lagos. Now, addressing newsmen at the end of the meeting in Lagos, Secretary of the BOT, Babayo Abdullahi, accused Kwankwaso of hobnobbing with President Tinubu, the People's Democratic Party presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, and the presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, without the board's authorization. Now, Abdullahi announced that Kwankwaso had been stripped of the NNPC national leader status by the board, with immediate effect, though. The secretary of the BOT maintained that the purported suspension of the NNPP founder was a flagrant gross violation of the party's constitution. Now, Abdullahi said that Anyebonam had resigned as the BOT chairman, and the new BOT chairman, Dr. Chief Tokpe Aluko, was elected with Abdullahi as the new BOT secretary. While High Chief Tony Obioha was elected as BOT spokesperson, he added that the pre-election memorandum of understanding signed with Kwankwansia Movement, the National Movement TNM, and National Association of Government Approved Freight Forwarders, NAGAF, has also been rendered void by the action of the National Working Committee of the NNPP. Now, according to Abdullahi, and I'll quote him, the purported suspension of the founder is a flagrant gross violation of the NNPP constitution, such that it is tantamount to recklessness and irresponsibility on the part of the incompetent National Working Committee. I continue on the quote. The BOT decided that material evidence in the public sector affirmed that Kwankwaso was involved in anti-party activities in various meetings, suggest political decisions with the President, Atiku, and Obi without authorization from the board. This has earned him 6 months suspension pending the outcome of investigation by the disciplinary committee. The BOT insisted that the avoidable violation of MOU between the NNPP on one part and Kwankwansia, TNM, and NAGAF on the other has no other choice than to withdraw from the partnership. It is therefore to state clearly that the MOU have been rendered void. Also speaking, the acting chairman said his team would hit the ground running by healing the wounds created by the suspended NWC members. The special General Assembly meeting was attended by the new National Working Committee members from and across the country. All right, there you have it. All the reports we are following on today's edition. We'll go on a short break. Thereafter, I will bring in our guest virtually, who's going to be joining us from Lagos. And we're going to be trying to make sense of all the moving parts to understand the situations better. The conversation continues when we get back from the break. Stay tuned. Join us again.
There's no cause for alarm in terms of the river Benue, River Niger. What happened in Cameroon is normal reservoir operation. You must release water. That's why we collaborate seriously with the Kainji and Jeba dams. That once the flood level is at a certain threshold, like say in Niani, we will notify the operators of Kainji and Jeba dam, the hydrologists, so that they will know that they should reduce the level they need to stay water. So that when the huge flood is coming into the dam, you block it immediately. Then the immediate past administration, under the Department of Water Resources and Sanitation, has commenced processes towards actualizing that dam. So as we discuss, as we speak now, the feasibility studies and designs have been completed by the consultant that was commissioned, and they have turned in his report to the ministry, which the experts have gone through. Normally, when you do a design and step forward, experts will go through it, because you are given a type of POR to do the design to do what idea is in conformity. Comments have been made by the ministry and sent back to the consultants, maybe to reflect in the final design. I believe not long from now the procurement process proper will commence. There's no cost.
All right, welcome back. And many staying tuned. If you're just tuned in, this is Political Spectrum on Spectrum Television. And we have laid forward some of the developments that we're following within the hour. Quickly, let me introduce to you my guest who has joined us virtually from Lagos, the metropolis of Lagos, Mr. Victor Anilaju, a former presidential candidate, an entrepreneur, and also a public affairs analyst. He's a social commentator also. Mr. Victor, good morning to you. Quite a while. How have you been?
Yeah, good morning. Thank you for having me. Glad
Nice to have you. And I like the smile too. Hope you rested well.
Yes, I did.
All right.
Kind of rested. So.
Okay. Anyway, I've been trying to monitor some of your comments on social media to know whether you still believe in what you believe in, but it's okay. I'll tell you my findings later. But you've gone through some of our the developments we're following. We started with I termed him the most popular minister in this cabinet yet, because he's always on the news, whether for the wrong or the right or the neutral reasons. He's always there. And you know, whatever it is, publicity, it doesn't matter whether it's good or bad. I'm talking about His Excellency Nyesom Wike, the former governor of Rivers State. Now, Wike is set to work. He has set to work already. He has begun the demolition of illegal or unapproved structures, according to him, so, to restore Abuja's master plan. Do you see him succeeding, Victor?
Okay. Like I always say, success is peculiar to different people. You know, it depends on what we see as success. We can hear about Wike now because from the post-election and to date, he always tried to be in the front of the media, always want to do things for him to get that media attention, right? And that is a political reason. So I would say he's kind of succeeding as a politician. But when it comes to a leader, he's not leading. Wike is not leading. Rather, he's bleeding, making people to bleed. Right? I think he needs to move from politics to leadership. Yeah, Abuja right now, illegal building. I don't think that's the major problem of Abuja. Abuja need more security. Abuja is not as secure as it used to be 10, 12 years ago. There every day people are losing their cars, people are losing their money. There is kidnapping going on in Abuja. So he needs to build more security network within Abuja. Now, there's something I always say about Abuja every time I visit Abuja. Do you know that traffic lights are not working in Abuja? Abuja is supposed to be the role model for every other city in Nigeria or even in Africa. As low as traffic lights, they are not working. There's still that the streets are dirty. The people are not coordinated and organized as the capital territory of a country that is like the seventh supplier of crude oil, which is supposed to be the biggest country in Africa or even the second largest country in terms of black race. So we need to bring modality. We need to bring Abuja into a decent city. Abuja is almost becoming like a city that is being run by touts.
Okay,
There's a lot of touts, right?
while you are still on that thought, you just made a very important you just made a very important statement now, that Abuja needs to be brought back to how it was originally planned. And here is Nyesom Wike, whether people thought he was using the statement to threaten his enemies or his perceived adversaries. He says that the original Abuja master plan, just like El-Rufai attempted when he was Federal Capital Territory Minister, that he will try as much as possible to bring it back. And then he mentioned illegal structures, that no one's ox is God, whether you're a serving minister or you're a Senate member, so long as you have built a structure on a land that is not allocated to you or a plan has not been approved. You know, they have a plethora of listings. And then he has begun. A lot of people will say that he is walking his talk. Why do you not agree that this demolition now is a path towards success, even if it is not the most pressing thing Abuja needs, like you have said? Why do you think he has not started well? I want to understand your part.
Yes, what I'm saying is that, do you know that the residents, the indigenes of Abuja right now, 80% of them have been displaced, and they have not been able to resettle them in Abuja. It's like you come into a community and you're focusing on the minor. Illegal buildings in Abuja is still minor. And what makes it illegal? That's the first question we want to get. That's where we don't want to go, because you think on the whole program. Because somebody might have approved a building to be constructed, and you will not find out that that approval came illegally. But me, I'm a layman. I walk into the office and apply for building approval, and building approval was given to me. How will I know that the building approval that was given to me came illegally? That's most of the problem Abuja residents have. You know, nobody builds in Abuja without seeking for approval. I know that very well, because there's a project we have handled in Abuja where an estate of over 500 housing units was destroyed.
But the FCDA, I can't remember his name now, but the FCDA director also came and said they met with the developers of the said property that has been demolished. And they told him that this structure should not be erected. But according to, although we've not heard from the other party, but according to the FCDA director, the guy continued to develop the property. It was in a report.
Yes, just like you said, we've not heard from the other party. But what I'm saying, that building is just minute issue to be what should be making headline for a minister of FCT. A minister of FCT, first thing he or she should do is to resettle those indigenes of Abuja. That is this first thing first. Then secondly, you go into security, making sure that Abuja becomes a decent city the way it was before. right? Then thirdly, you want to make sure that people in Abuja, they are employed. There are many young people in Abuja that are out of job or they are not even employed at all. You want to make sure that the street lights, the traffic lights, the construction work going on in Abuja is still going on. Those are the basics those are what make Abuja Abuja, not pursuing just one person to destroy one building. The building is that building as that today? Was that building blocking road? Was it interjecting with any other thing? It's just a building standing on its own. We are talking about Nigeria where we have over 38 million house deficits, and you are destroying houses. If I was the minister of FCT, I will not destroy that house. I will take over the house, then give the house to poor Nigerians that don't have houses to stay. Destroying that house is waste of resources. Wike can be seen as a waster. That's one thing he liked doing. He liked to destroy them to build, which is not fair. You would have seized the building, asked people who are homeless in Abuja to occupy the building for now. If there's any illegal structure that is being built now in Abuja, I will advise Wike, don't destroy them. Give those structures to those who are homeless in Abuja so that they can occupy it. Let government take over the building. Let's stop destroying building. It's not helping us. We don't even have enough houses in Nigeria. And the few that we have, you will go in there and destroy it. After you destroy it, what are you going to do with the space? Are you eating the space? So sometimes, like I said, we have good Nigerian politicians. Wike just he kind of succeeding as a politician, but you know his success is temporal. His success will not take him anywhere.
I am happy you now agree that Wike is successful or has been successful. I'm happy you agree.
In politics,
in
Nigerian
okay. I understand what you mean. I understand what you mean.
He's not a successful leader. He's a successful politician.
Okay.
Right? And he should stop all this his tyranny and the rest. Don't destroy building. Seize the building.
Okay. I'll hold you to your word now and ask. So if the building is erected in an illegal land or in a place that it ought not to be, we should still leave the building because, according to you, we can use it to house the poor. Is that what you're trying to say?
100%, sir. And I stand by that word. Unless maybe it's
a lot of people will argue that with you anyway.
Unless maybe it's causing a life or a death issue. Maybe the building is going to disrupt people from living. But I could tell you vividly, most of these buildings are not even disrupting the road network in Abuja. If you say maybe the building approval was not given properly, we don't care to know. Seize it. Let's beg Wike to just seize those buildings, give it to the homeless people in Abuja to live in. We will achieve so much by doing that. We will achieve so much by doing that. We just need leaders in our government sector. That's what Nigeria should be thinking of. It's not about destroying buildings. There are many illegal structures even in Abuja. There are even illegal structure that was built by federal government in Abuja. Nobody has gone there to destroy it, right? But what I'm saying, going forward, let's look at what is the best way for us to solve issues. By my own training as a business developer, we were trained that when you face a complex situation, you take simple decisions. You don't go there and start making a complex situation look complex. It's a complex situation that they are building without proper approval. Why destroy it? Seize it. Do you know if you seize it, it would have been better, more profitable to the government? Government can use it to house the homeless. Government can use it to run offices and businesses. Government can put fine on whoever has abused that building, that you need to pay oxygen amount before we can allow you to use the building. Destroying it now that they have destroyed it, what are they going to do with the space? Are they going to fix road there?
Okay.
So those are the questions we should ask.
Okay.
Because for every cause there is an effect. What is the effect for
Okay,
destroying
Victor,
the
if you
people?
have the report, you will remember that it also mentioned that the land belongs to the Alake of Egba land, which means it legally belongs to Alake of Egba land. So that question you are asking already has an answer. But still on your thought, because I'm going to hold you on your thought, you do not believe that Wike will make a successful leader. Rather, you think he has been successful in Nigerian politics because, according to you, he has been favored. Now, in order to succeed, what do you think Wike should do, or at least be mindful of? Just advise him now as if you want him to be a successful leader or a successful minister of the Federal Capital Territory.
He should look at the needs of the people in Abuja and meet those needs. Basic needs of people in Abuja. Abuja residents don't have good water. They don't have potable water supply. What is he doing for the people in Abuja to have good water? They lack security. They need more security. Houses in Abuja are very expensive. What is he doing to make sure that rent in Abuja comes down? Life in Abuja generally is expensive. Food in Abuja is expensive. What is he doing to make sure there are more food in Abuja? This is what we are saying. Leadership is about meeting the need of the people. To me, I could tell you that Wike is not in touch with the need of the people in Abuja. Wike is not. He is only in touch with the political rascality, right? It should come down to the grassroots and know what do they need. What are the needs of the people? I know that number one, they don't have potable water in Abuja. Number two, housing in Abuja is still very high. Bring it down. Number three, the children in Abuja need to go to school. Make sure they attend good schools. Number four, there is insecurity. Number five, the traffic, the street lights are not working. The amenities. Number six, there is unemployment going on in Abuja. Those are the things he should start looking into, solving those challenges, making Abuja to become actually a proper capital territory of Nigeria. When you come into Abuja, you will feel safe. You will feel a very good and welcoming city where there is no threat. Because to me, what Wike is not doing is threatening people. And when you start threatening people like that, people will start leaving the city. And when people start leaving the city, businesses will start going down. Businesses is not thriving in Abuja like it used to be before. People are not coming into Abuja for vacation, for tourists, and for some other leisure purpose again. People are even scared going to Abuja now. People are losing their cars daily. People are being kidnapped in Abuja. What is he doing about Abuja Kaduna Expressway? And Kaduna used to be where most people come from into Abuja, but people can't travel that route again. Those are things we should start hearing him saying, okay, we are doing this to make sure that people can travel with their cars from Kaduna to Abuja. Then to cram it up, fuel is very expensive in Abuja. They are buying fuel about 700 naira per liter in Abuja. So these are the basic things that I will advise you. Look at the need of the people. Politics has come to an end. Election season has come to an end. Let's continue now about leadership. And leadership is all about providing for the need of the people. There are a lot of people who are supposed to collect their gratuity that have not been able to get their gratuity because their document have not been signed in Abuja. There's a lot of contractors that have not been paid. Those are the things that we should be looking into. Let's dazzle down this tyranny, rascality. Let's take Nigeria back to leadership, where we lead people with joy, with hope, with confidence, so that Nigerians can be happy again. There's a lot of depression going on, especially from Abuja to Lagos. A lot of people are being depressed. A lot of people are scared. School fees is going up high. Rent is going high. Fuel is on the high lane. What is it doing? That's That's what I really want to know. Don't come and tell us that you are destroying a building,
Okay.
you're the only person building illegal structure. Illegal structure in Abuja is least of the challenges Abuja is facing right now.
Okay, Victor, in as much as a lot of people will agree on a lot of points you have raised, let's give him some slack too. Let's cut him some slack too, because it's barely 2 weeks as minister. And I'm sure he has his plans laid out, because we had even had it on this show before where he laid everything out about what he intends to do. So let's see whether he will walk the talk. Now to a more pressing national or international issue. We all know the story of the Lagdo Dam in Cameroon, and how it was that Nigeria was supposed to agree to build, you know, a receiving dam, and that project, howbeit, whether it started or not, we can't lay hands on the confirmation of that report now. But the issue is that there's a deficit, and each time Cameroon releases its dam to avert flooding from their end, the flooding now comes to Nigeria. And you know, a lot of people who are staying around the banks of River Niger and Benue are said to be staying below the sea level, and are always affected hugely by, you know, by the floods. Now, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs has warned that governors should take charge of their states, you know, about the possible flooding. But the Nigerian Hydrological Services boss has said, well, there is no cause for alarm. Whereas about the same time last year, there was heavy flooding. What do you make of this?
So like I always say, the APC-led government always like to solve problems, challenges from the surface. They always want to address things by the surface. We already know the problem. Nigeria need to build a dam to control that overflow of water coming from Cameroon. No matter what we are going to do, what the APC government just trying to do is to provide relief material. That flooding will continue until there is a proper dam that will be built to control the water that is overflowing from Cameroon. And I will say this because I've done my own research in that area. You know, most of the power, most of our dams were reached by Russia. That's about 40 something years ago, or 40 years ago, about. And I was told that there was specifications that the Russian government gave us at that time, things that we should be doing every five years, right? So that our power supply can improve and we'll be able to control most of the dams that will help us to generate power. But for over 35 years, as Nigerian government did not implement any of those policies or any of such infrastructures that were supposed to be built. So right now, we are now back to where we were supposed to be 40 years ago. And to solve this overflow of water that is coming from Cameroon, we need to address it. A facility needs to be built. A proper dam needs to be built to control the overflow coming from Cameroon. Now, providing relief material is good. Those are temporary measures. Those are solving the problem on the surface. But that will not stop the water that is coming from Cameroon to come into Benue and all other states within the river base area. The government needs to come up with a proper projects that can help push back or hold back those water. In fact, the water even that is flowing down from Cameroon, it will even help us to even generate more water. So I see no reason why they don't want to look into a permanent solution than this temporary solution that they are just doing right now. The government, the APC-led government, should seize this opportunity to give themselves some good names, to give themselves some good records by doing what is needful. I know it's going to cost some money. I know it's going to take junk money from our government to build this dam, but we need it at this moment. We need it at this time. We need it as we speak. Because if we don't do what we need to do now, in another 5 years, in another 10 years, we'll